Now it should be recording my audio as well. This morning during the London session tape read on our Discord, we looked at a very similar setup where we saw an inversion fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, volume imbalance right here, looking for the long. We hit our low-hanging fruit target, short-term high, but then we just went sideways and continued lower. So I actually ended up taking a loss. I closed the trade once we closed below this bullish fair value gap, which was right here. But then I also mentioned that if the long setup fails, the higher time frame is still bearish. We're very likely to continue lower, at least into our next short-term low right here. That's exactly what happened, and I took the entry short of this bearish fair value gap into sell side for 5 points. And very similar to what we saw right here, we get that retracement. But here we consolidated, then we leave behind that bearish fair value gap without a nice market structure shift setup. Over here, confirm with a candle close and continue lower, leave behind a fair value gap, retest, continue lower. And then once again, after we hit that short-term low, we start to retrace. We hit short-term highs, fill in this entire bearish fair value gap here, invalidate the long, shift structure right here, leave behind that fair value gap, fill it in, and we continue lower. That's a recap of what happened so far today after 3 a.m. Okay, let's get rid of these drawings. We closed below this bullish fair value gap. That's nice to see. Now I would be looking forward to see resistance from that area. That's our bearish entry fair value gap. That's our old inversion fair value gap. That gave us that first confirmation that we could continue higher. We closed above it right here. This is our lowest bullish fair value gap. So now I want to see it break through this. I'm going to get rid of this inversion fair value gap. Best case scenario, after hitting that 50% consequent encouragement, we're going to retrace into our inversion and continue lower into equal low sell side. We don't have news at 8:30 today. But we will still very likely see some sort of a injection of liquidity at 8:30. So we have to be aware of that. It's 8:25 now. It's going to be that next 5-minute candle. And as we say so often, around the 30-minute mark within the new hourly candle, we oftentimes see increased volatility. It's a new 15 and 30-minute opening. We only get one 30-minute candle opening within our 1 hour timing window. The next one is already that new 1 hour opening, and that 1 hour opening is gonna outweigh the 30-minute candle opening. So imagine a 30-minute time frame trader or a 15-minute time frame trader. They're very likely to enter the market once a 15 or 30-minute candle closed. Same thing goes for the 1 hour time frame. Those are just those points of interest regarding time that I'm looking out for. Where I'm a little bit extra cautious. So let's see if we get the retracement into our inversion. Let me open up Discord here and see if we have any questions in the chat. Good morning, Agent. Good morning, Jazz. I think it's much easier if I just stream on Discord today for the entire session, instead of having 2 platforms open at all times. And there's also no advertising and delay for the free Discord live stream. "30 seconds to go before we get that new 30-minute candle here at 8:30. Let's see how that plays out. I'm gonna place 1 buy limit right here. Why is it a sell limit now? Buy stop. And buy stop. Buy stop goes over here. And one of these buy stops goes to break even. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq also is inside that lowest bullish share value gap and also gave us that little internal 5-minute time frame 2022 model. I'm saying internal because it's inside the range instead of outside the range. Usually we see it right here on the outside. This would be the opposite because it's on the inside of our current range right here. If there are any questions, feel free to ask me. I won't be talking too much because we started a little bit earlier. It's still 1 hour until the New York Open. I just saw the opportunity and I kept everyone up to date in tape reading anyway, so I decided to just jump on the live stream, because it really does make a difference if I keep on typing everything or if I actually stream live and just talk about it. So unless there are any questions and no new updates on the chart, I'm gonna remain silent. There we go. There's the update. Let's see if we had our first buy limit. Overall, if we look at the bigger picture, I would be interested to see if we can get a retracement to the 50% of last day's range. Yesterday was really interesting. I mean, we just went to the upside. We caught the long and we also mentioned where we're gonna potentially see that delivery from. And we said this hourly bullish share value gap with the market structure shift right here, clearing out all these short-term highs. I honestly didn't expect Monday to deliver like it did. I mean, look at the hourly time frame. So during the early London session, I played it safe. Didn't risk too much, but we took out that highest buy side, filled this inefficiency, and now, just expecting a retracement towards somewhere of that 50% level. We could also take a look at the volume profile from low all the way to the high. We can see that that volume point of control is also sitting just around that 50% level once we broke through that previous day's high. I think we just hit our first target. Let's see if we can continue from here and close below this bullish share value gap. That's going to be step number 3. We close below this bullish share value gap. We already hit our first low hanging fruit target. But now what we want to see is not a rejection from this low with potential SMT divergence on NQ. Perfect equal lows. That wouldn't be best case scenario. For example, what we see right now with this strong rejection. I would like to see the close below this bullish fair value gap, and then we can easily follow this lower. Stop at break even. The next target is gonna be now let's just go with the flow. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we close here. You see that? We close right at the low, but we didn't close below just yet. But we open with a bearish volume imbalance. So let's keep track of that. Theoretically, we still respected the fair value gap. So we need one more candle, one more 5-minute candle to confirm this inversion fair value gap. In Q also with that same setup, we kept forming high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We know that the overall trend on the higher time frame is bearish, and if we're starting to retrace, then we get our market structure shift, retracement into the inefficiency, and we target sell side. Quick scalp. NQ broke the low. Let's see if we can actually break lower from here, or if we start to see that rejection now. Let me just make sure I managed to trade accordingly on my funding pips account. Next step would be to close below this low, to confirm that we're actually going to continue lower. Before that, we could fill in this unfilled volume imbalance. Anywhere, if we close anywhere below this bullish fair value gap, it's a good sign. Scenario 2 would be that this move to the downside right here, starting at 8 AM, was that last manipulation move. We're going to see the displacement to the upside, and we're going to continue higher during the New York session. Those are both scenarios that I see could play out. We still have that equal high buy side and unfilled inefficiencies. Above, we haven't retested the VWAP in a little while. Last time we took some short-term highs was right here, inside this bearish value gap. But ever since 2 AM, the sell-off right from the midnight level, all we did was form lower lows and lower highs. Lower low, equal high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we swept the highs, but eventually continued lower. We tapped the low again. I would have preferred this volume imbalance to be closed in before we continue lower, because then we wouldn't have the reason to come back for it. And Q is holding below that low. Let's see if ES can also close below that. I'm going to secure some profit here on my 100k account of this bearish value gap. That's more than 5 points, I think. I had one entry right here and the other one right there. I closed this one for 6 points in profit. Low hanging fruit, not here to catch the monster 10 RR trade. but I still always like to keep a runner. Let me actually turn on the paper trading executions here. So here, that's when we tried the long, got stopped out at break even, or it's when I decided to close with that market structure shift, and then got in at the consequent encouragement of this bearish fair value gap. So we actually filled in the volume imbalance now. We have 20 seconds to go. Let's see if we can close below this fair value gap now. If we close inside, well, we talk about it when we get there. So we close below, but we open with a bullish volume imbalance here. NQ actually is closing below that low. So we just keep on having an eye on it. Based on the higher time frame, this would be our 1 hour fair value gap low. But we, I mean, we have so many hourly fair value gaps here on this move to the upside, because that's all we did yesterday. We barely retraced at all. So just looking for that 50% retracement, that would be another move of potential 16 points to the downside. Already secured profit. Our stop is at or below break even here. So no matter what happens, we already made some profit here on this trade. Securing the bag. And like always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm gonna remain silent because it's still early. 8:40 a.m. We still have 40 minutes until, 40 minutes and 50 minutes until the New York Open. Continuing lower, looking good. Earlier I shared the potential where I said let me go for a tape reading chat. Nah, come on, that's not what I wanted. Go back. Is way too large. Interesting. Anyway, I can just open up the link. Earlier we were looking at exactly, Let's let me carry it over here. Just looking for these short-term highs because we've seen it before. And all these bars, this is just the exact same pattern that we saw right here after we retraced a little bit. This time we just actually hit the short-term highs and we were looking for something. We were not looking for it. We were like, looking that it could potentially bounce from here and go higher. But I just wanted to state that it's risky to continue to not take partials basically at those low-hanging fruit targets, especially if we're counter trending on the 1 hour time frame, not going with the trend. Hope that makes sense. Like always, feel free to ask questions. Going to take another lot of profit. Now I'm in with one last lot on my funding pips account. Currently up 268. Chart. On that account, let's move our stop loss to break even. Modify, done. Put our stop more in profit. Now we see what we're going to do around this bullish fair value gap. This would be previous week's new week opening gap, if I'm not correct. Now from the 17th of December. So that's also still around. But like I said, we're looking forward for that potential 50% retracement. We close below this bullish fair value gap here as well on the 5-minute time frame. That next bullish fair value gap would be coming in. Yeah, right here. We just tested that. Then we would almost, visit our next short-term low right here at 6.8 and at 6.7. But I decided not to, use these big inefficiencies on the move to the downside because they're just, too big. But also note here, guess that's maybe my mistake here. This would have been great confluence and completely debunked what I just said before. We see this bullish fair value gap here. We retrace into it once and we bounce away from it. Eventually, we manage to close below it. What do we do then? Okay, we look for potential resistance at that point in time. We retrace into it and we have a perfect bearish fair value gap right here. Also, old support. We had to break through that. We closed below that. We closed below that bullish fair value gap, turning into a inversion fair value gap. And look how perfectly we respected that inversion fair value gap paired with this bearish fair value gap. 8 a.m. the new hourly candle opens up. New York volume starts to kick in. We shift market structure, leave behind that bearish fair value gap, and we continue lower. Hindsight sometimes is a beautiful thing. I mean, we caught it anyway without that confluence because I had the fair value gap all the way over here. But we could look forward to see some possible reaction of that next inversion fair value gap. Let's actually make this gray because it's from yesterday, from that massive move to the upside. Fair value gap might make it a little bit easier to view. Do you have a video explaining what other time frame or charts are you looking at outside of what we can see in the stream? I think it's as simple as I don't look at anything else. The monitor that you see on the stream is my main monitor. I only have my MacBook, my 17-inch MacBook screen right next to it. No second screen. It's just this one here. So if I only watch the SNQ during the stream, that's all I watch. Like I said yesterday, I'm not watching the DXY for the short term. If I'm trading the 5-minute time frame, I like to look at it in the mornings or in the evening to see, okay, what could happen tomorrow in the bigger picture. But I don't care if the DXY is going up or down. If I see a setup on the 5-minute time frame or lower, sometimes lower, on ES, I don't care what the DXY is telling me, because sometimes we see ES continues lower and the DXY continues lower as well, and sometimes we see the S&P continuing higher while the DXY is continuing lower. They're not perfectly correlated, so I'm not trading EU here, I'm trading the indices. And I like to keep things simple. The only good information when trading ES would come, from Nasdaq here really. Let's look at the higher time frame on Nasdaq. Because if you remember and if you watched the weekly outlook, we talked about the breaker block on our daily time frame paired with the bearish fair value gap. So I'm interested to see if we actually use it as resistance, if we can continue to close below this potential inversion fair value gap here, then I think we can continue lower and the bullish scenario would be out of the way. Very similar to what we see here. Market structure shift, bearish fair value gap, continuation lower. Expecting that same thing to happen on NQ because it's easily it's the most obvious thing right now. It could be wrong. It failed plenty of times, even on a daily time frame. But well, it's our best guess at the moment. But we also mentioned the bullish scenario where we just retraced into these inefficiencies right here on the volume profile, filled in all our bullish fair value gaps, holding support around this overall consolidation area, trapping shorts into the market, and then quickly relieving or liquidating these shorts to continue to form a new all-time high, or going above that 2023 high. Both scenarios are possible, like always. But for now I like to stick with market structure. Because the other one is just, guessing. Almost, I'd say. So let's see how it plays out. Bearish fair value gap. Yeah, definitely. I like to follow structure, and that's exactly what happened here. And before, I didn't really see the good confirmation to continue lower. I only took this short because, higher time frame, I anticipated for it to continue lower if we fail to move to the upside, because if it doesn't go higher, there's only, there's theoretically two options what it could do, but let's scratch out that consolidation option. I was looking for that continuation. That's exactly what I got. Before that, price action was a little bit tricky. We closed above even that bearish fair value gap right here. That's my cursor. We closed above it right here, and then we just went sideways. That led me to believe that we could potentially retrace for the short term and take out low-hanging fruit targets and fill in this inefficiency, retest the VWAP, but that obviously didn't happen. And before that, I'd say it would have just been rather tough to catch an entry on this, move to the downside. This really, in my eyes, would have been a good setup to share. And even at this point in time, we were still hesitating. We entered short, but we immediately have our invalidation in place, and that invalidation scenario would have been that this 8 a.m. hourly candle here on the 5-minute time frame, like we so often say, is a fake move. Before we continue and trend higher between 8 and 9 a.m., we fake traders out to the downside one last time, especially on the lower time frames, buy some more in a discount before we eventually reverse. And we see that happen rather often just around that new hourly opening. For example here, 4 a.m. we drop, and then we immediately retrace all the way up into 5 a.m. Next target for NQ down, 50% off yesterday. Pretty hard to come up with targets in this environment, but 50% and the short-term low 16,639. So right here. The short-term low, and then we'll see if we can close below that, fill in more inefficiencies, retracing eventually even further. But we're getting closer to the New York Open. Let's see what happens. Gonna take some profit here on that 50k account too. Take 50% off. Leave a little runner. Stops already protected in profit. Same old, same old. This London session was trickier. But eventually we found a nice setup. Mm, 8:55, so that's that last 5-minute candle before we get a new hourly candle. Can check the hourly time frame here. We just hit that next hourly bullish fair value gap. But we get our signs for a potential reversal on the 5-minute time frame as well. Oh, a little bit tired. Don't know why. Let's see if we can deliver lower below this fair value gap. That would be the next step. We took it step by step. Step 0, I'd say, would be the entry, and to see if we actually respect this fair value gap. Once that is confirmed, right here, we close back below. Step number 1, until we reach potential sell side, close below this bullish fair value gap. We do that. Step number 2, close below that next bullish fair value gap. We did that right here. Leave behind a volume imbalance, and then we actually hit sell side before that. But this is how I like to take it step by step. And when it feels like okay, we're a little bit overextended, or basically just look for low hanging fruit targets to at least take a partial. Because we don't have very obvious sell side to the left, other than the slowdown here. That's when I like to use this step by step, take partial, slow hanging fruit targets approach. Two minutes to go within the 8 to 9 a.m. hourly candle. Interested in the AM morning session. I'm gonna be extra cautious because we dropped quite a bit. measuring from London, 25 points. We could see potential seek and destroy during that AM session before we continue in any direction during the PM session. Just be aware of that. 40 seconds to go. New hourly opening. We didn't close below the bullish share value gap. We opened up with a little bullish volume imbalance. So for that next hourly candle, we could first see some sort of a retracement, maybe to this hourly inversion fair value gap here. We now just confirmed to close below it. Step by step. Let's put on some music and enjoy the show. Perfect. Like always, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. It will be more active once we hit 9:30 and get more information from the New York Open. Continuing lower. Let me take a quick look at NQ. 5-minute time frame. But also just going sideways here. We have that bearish value gap, but usually if we go sideways, there's gonna be some sort of a pullback. Let's keep an eye on it. Mm, 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 mm. 2 minutes to go. Mm, 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 mm. You can see that retracement on NQ starting to form, while ES is still looking tipping lower, 905. Let's see if we get that close below here in 40 seconds. And we still closed inside. Still no confirmation that we're gonna continue lower just yet. Starting to bottom out a little bit. And usually once that happens, we start to see some sort of a retracement. But we're already protected, stopped some profit, secured some profit right here. I think it would still have enough room to continue lower, but it would depend on the time and what we're going to do before 9:30. Good morning, Fady. We started the live stream a little bit earlier than usual today, and we're also doing it on Discord, not on YouTube. But mainly just hanging around for the New York Open to come by. We already took the short of this 2022 model right here, the internal one. Waiting to see if we cannot continue lower. So right now we see ES going lower and NQ starting to retrace. Let's see how that plays out. Coming into the day, I was leaning bullish to at least take yesterday's high. Believe still in stars if we get this placement back in range. Would have to be a good displacement with some bearish inefficiencies that we left behind completely invalidated for me to immediately jump on the long. I also see the potential for some seek and destroy during the AM session because we already dropped quite a bit during the London/AM session. Same goes for NQ, but you know, I wouldn't say that something like this, I don't know, is completely out of the cards. Definitely not. But for now, order flow remains bearish. And as long as it doesn't change, my short to mid-term buyers won't change either. Still holding and consolidating here on ES and that bullish fair value gap right around the new hourly candle, and we can see that NQ is starting to retrace, so I'm expecting the same thing to happen here on ES shortly, unless ES this time is still a weaker one. I already secured most of my profits on the funding pips account, just leaving a runner here. It's 9:15 now, so also a new 15-minute candle. We have two nice 15-minute inefficiencies here actually. So Fady, I just thought about it a little bit longer. Just because we're bearish right now and at the low of the day, I wouldn't necessarily always think that we have to reverse at the New York Open. I mean, of course, it kind of would make sense to pull back inside of the daily range, but as long as we're bearish, and that's not gonna change so quickly. And if it changes, I'm very sure we're gonna see it. And that's same thing what happened to me this morning when I was trying to counter trend this movement to the downside. This was the first time where we saw potential for a retracement, even closing above that highest bearish value gap here. But eventually we just broke down lower. And yeah, based on that, that also gave me that extra bit of confidence to take the short right here, in line with the higher time frame trend. So we retraced. Reversal traders tried to counter trend this, or counter trend trade this, hoping that both are showing up and we continue into this equal high buy side. But this 8 a.m. candle said it all. Said all that needed to be said, leaving behind that inefficiency for that continuation lower. So I would like to see a really significant displacement within 1 or 2 candles, and then a nice breaker block, fair value gap. Because if you keep in mind where we are rejecting from, if we go to the daily time frame here on NQ, we're not rejecting from anywhere. We mapped it out on a weekly outlook, the breaker block, bearish fair value gap, after the daily bearish market structure shift. We already delivered into it on Monday. And that's usually where we would expect continuation into sell side. Of course, it doesn't have to happen like that. We could, for example, leave behind a bullish fair value gap right here, use it as support, and continue one more time higher into this. Many different possible scenarios. You can't join free live stream. That can't be right. Permissions. Everyone is able to join. Mute members, move members, send messages, embed links. Should be working now. Perfect. Is your history much better than trying to counter trend, Fady? My history trying to counter trend is really trying to force something most often. Yeah, but that's basically going with the trend. We have the buy model confirmed, market is showing us where it wants to go, and we simply use any of the discounts being left behind to continue with the trend, which is bullish in a market maker buy model. Come on. You seem to force trades. You mean counter trend trades, like for example yesterday, or actually trades with the trend? The only trade we took yesterday was right here, after bullish fair value gap in line with the trend. I mean, yeah, I didn't see that coming, fully admit it. But whatever bullish fair value gap we would have bought on the way up would have eventually worked. And we mentioned this entire accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup right here. Even before we were talking about it in the tape reading chat, that this could potentially be the low of the day. Seeing that displacement or that movement away from it, holding support on a discounts, inversion fair value gaps, holding support on that next bullish fair value gap, and then just slowly taking it further to the upside. But of course, if you try to counter trend trade this, that would have costed you a little bit. Now I think for the short term we can definitely retrace. It wouldn't hurt us. What's the time? It's 9:20, so we have 6 more minutes. No, 6-7 minutes left until the New York Open. Have a feeling that we found some SMT divergence here. Yep. Can see that NQ is forming higher lows, while ES is forming lower lows. Let's see if we keep holding resistance here with this volume imbalance and the inversion fair value gap from the left from yesterday. If we can successfully hold this, I think can easily continue a bit lower. Yeah, and that's why I started to really practice trading with the trend, because I used to just sit there waiting for that displacement to happen. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's, if that's the only thing that you want to trade, that's just the worst case scenario, that the market just keeps on trending and you never get your entry. The only thing you have to make sure is that you don't force something and go down to a 5 seconds time frame just to see your market structure shift confirmation, if you know what I mean. But I like to be able to move freely. If we're trending higher, I can use a simple fair value gap to trade with the trend. If we're around a interesting reversal zone, I have my model for a potential reversal. And right now I don't really think we're in that reversal zone yet, that full-on reversal. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, it doesn't mean I can't engage on the reversal. But it's not there yet. But we have potential SMT divergence, so keep an eye on that. Let's see if we keep on respecting this inversion fair value gap. We should also potentially see resistance on all these up closing candles within a downtrend. We have 2 of them right here. paired with this volume imbalance. If we would see that immediate close above, starting to hold support now, that would be that first hint for a potential change where we could see that retracement into the 15-minute time frame unfilled fair value gaps. Two more minutes until the New York Open. Let's get ready for that. Oh, nice. Just got back from the toilet. A pleasant surprise. Time to get rid of the music and focus. We're starting to see some volatility or some divergence still. Q didn't take out that low. Like I said, already secured most of my profits. Took a partial right here. Stops protected in profit. Not going to lose on that trade. I make sure of that. We still have the SMT divergence, and we even hit that old new week opening gap down here. But I think a little short-term retracement wouldn't hurt us. This is good. I'm gonna send a quick link here on Discord. But like we said, usually when we see that sideways movement, it's always a good hint that we're gonna start at least to get some sort of a pullback. We see that right now only on NQ. Yes, it's still indecisive. Step by step. No rush at all. Secured another little partial because I'm not really the biggest fan of what I see here on NQ. Well, ES is still playing around at the low of the day. We hit my old target, that new week opening gap. I just moved my stop lower to be able to manage it a little bit better. Yeah, let's close out this position right here. I mean, the trade wasn't intended to be held through the entire New York Open, really. I mean, we got in right here on that 2022 model, and it did its job. It delivered into sell side where we took our first partial, and it kept continuing lower from here even. So if we look for now for the live stream starting at 9:30, we look for another opportunity. We don't have to keep on holding onto that same trade. Now, ES is still, I don't know. NQ, are you sure? Should we really go higher? I think there's more money to be made to the downside. But NQ is saying, no. We have to move to the upside. ES is like, still not sure. Let's wait a little. But I don't like to simply base a trade of potential SMT divergence, because all it needs for that SMT divergence to disappear all of a sudden is a quick wick to the downside at the New York Open. But we're looking good, and this is that sort of displacement that you would want to see above this high. I mean, it would be tough to get your entry here, maybe based on the 1 minute time frame, in order to liquidate or stop hunt all these lower highs. Right here, right here, right here, and right here. Potentially continue back up to that previous day's high. Would be rather tricky on. Yes, we still have that opportunity, I'd say. Let's stay patient and focused. Try not to get distracted. I will keep an alert on here on NQ. But I think more often than not, that's just fading my bias on ES. So we close back above the inversion fair value gap. Let's see if we use it as support now. That first short-term high would be right here. That's all old stuff. Don't need that right now anymore. We looked at this for the short, which already played out. We have this bearish fair value gap here with our inversion fair value gap to the left, or from the left. Let's see if we get a nice opportunity to continue the journey up on our paper account. In the meantime, I'm still in on a portion of this little internal 2022 model right here on my funding pips account. with my stop at break even, so there's nothing at risk. Secured 80% of the position already. And because I don't have a live trailing drawdown like I used to have with Apex, you don't really have to worry about getting stopped out at break even. And I really enjoy taking advantage of that. If I get stopped out at break even, I just get stopped out at break even. It doesn't count as a loss. So that's pretty cool. What are you guys trading with? And also, all the free viewers today, are you trading with a futures funded account, a CFD funded account, with your own personal funds? Are you trading with Topstep, Take Profit Trader? I would like to know. Feel free to share that here. And also all the members. I know that Agent Smith is currently funded with Trade Day and Apex. Two funded with Apex. I also have 2 funded accounts. Oh, they're not fun. Well, I mean they're funded. They hit the profit target, but I didn't pay the activation fee for the last, I think, I don't know, since week before Christmas. And I'm really contemplating if I'm going to spend that money. Right now I'm almost at the point where I would spend it much rather on another 50k account with funding pips or maybe funded engineer or FTMO instead of spending it on the Apex account. I mean, there's nothing wrong about it. But we will see. I still have until the end of the month to make that decision. Brand new. Brand new.
So nasty at trading. Oh, okay. I mean, where's your TV though? Oh, okay. No, but just let the trade play out, bro. Just don't be too emotional about it, okay, man? You know? All right. What is he doing?
All right, what we're working with? Basically nothing, at least on ES in Q. Turnaround. Didn't even leave behind a bullish fair value gap. We immediately rebalanced this 9:30 a.m. pump to the upside. So let's see. Right now I didn't see entry opportunity on ES. We could check the 1 minute time frame, but even on the 1 minute time frame, I guess you could argue market structure shift bullish, but I don't know. I'm missing the fair value gap in here, so I'm gonna be waiting. Fadia, remember I don't want to scare you or anything, just because that's the most recent message that I saw in the chat. When I received my first Apex funded accounts, I was super excited. I'm like, oh yeah, payouts are gonna start coming in. I had 3 funded accounts right away, and eventually, step by step, I managed to blow all of them, mainly because of that. Not very quickly, but I think over the course of a month, I did a great job for the first 2 or 3 weeks with the funded accounts. But yeah, then eventually that live trading drawdown came out to hunt me. And I was in drawdown, $1,000, and you have that $2,000 max drawdown, I think with Apex it was, or 2,500. I think 2,000 on the 50k account. And then I started to be worried. I don't have much more room to play, and I started to risk very little, even on those 9 out of 10 setups, or even 10 out of 10 setups. And I really, those setups really didn't make a difference. But because I didn't feel like I have the room to breathe before I blow these accounts, or before they're gone or failed, that just really messed with my mind. So I think we talked about it already. What my advice would be: do not be scared. I think it's worth the lesson blowing your first funnel account. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So don't be too overprotective over your first funded account. Usually that's just a account to make a mistake with and learn from it. Just make sure you don't keep on repeating these mistakes. So in queue with that fake pump to the upside. Now we're about to take out these lows. Still without a decent entry opportunity on ES. Like we suspected initially. Kind of tricky, and that's also a great example of why I most of the time I don't trade in queue. I want to point it out before I say it again. I don't trade in queue, but if I have NQ open and I see NQ is really pumping to the upside here, I mean, it's easy to doubt that ES is not going to pump, and that ES is just staying below here, not continuing lower, and it might throw you off or catch you off guard, and you exit more and more and more of your position. That's exactly what happened here, and that's why you don't really want to do that. If you don't trade NQ and you only focus on one asset, you look at it only to look for SMT divergence or some other confluence, but rest of the time that chart should be closed. At least in my opinion. We had a nice volume imbalance here. Let's see if we already filled that in. Use that to continue lower, but without ever having taken a short-term high. I'm not the biggest fan of just continuing the short here on my paper account. Like I said, still in short. On my funding pips account, that's going very well. No reason to be ashamed. Be proud of it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. There's no one shaming you except yourself. No one's pointing the finger at you here, because every other trader knows what you're going through. But it's most of the time just ourselves that really make it hard for ourselves. Like, oh, we don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. When in reality, we should treat ourselves more like we would treat our friends or our best friend. No shame in that at all. Exactly. But after a couple of hours or maybe on the next morning, you wake up and you're like, okay, it wasn't so bad after all. Draw a few conclusions from it. What I am continue, what I'm going to continue to do, what I'm going to stop doing ideally. But sometimes it's not as easy because you get caught up in it, and yeah, your logical part of the brain is simply switching off. Took you 24 hours. Yeah, I've been there. Can happen. What was the reason for you blowing the account? Might be helpful for some others. Like I said, no shame in it at all. We all know what the struggle is. It's not the easiest thing to do. You could be on the best winning streak and yeah, you just end up losing it. Like I said before, most of the time we don't end up blowing our accounts on a losing streak. We start out right from 50k and we keep on losing. Most of the time that happens when we keep on winning because we get this stage. We're getting detached from the risk that we're taking on, and we're more willing to use more risk. Let's check out NQing. You still didn't take out the low, so even more SMT divergence now. I took a trade and it reversed on me, then got back in, same trade when it went my way and got stopped again. Then felt my revenge trading kicking in and I did not have the discipline to walk away. Up the size to win it back, rest is history. Yep. And I mean, we've all been there, very likely. Very likely if you've been trading for more than 1 year. We've all been there. And yeah, it's just much harder to try to even win it back on those Apex accounts with the live trailing drawdown, because I don't know, you could break even on 3 or 4 trades, but those 3 or 4 or even 5 break even trades could cause you to blow your challenge because you were in profit at one stage, so your unrealized P&L is going up. And you simply don't realize your profits, and that's your mistake. But I don't really think it's a mistake. I don't know. Just typing that gave me sweats. I know what it's like. Imagine what it's like if you stream. Take a day off or maybe a day or two. Do something else you enjoy besides trading and come back stronger. Think about it a little bit and then come back with a game plan. Blowing accounts is part of it. Ask me or Agent Smith. Could write a book about it. My journey. Chapter 1 to 10 is how often I blew a challenge before, actually getting a first payout or getting close to the first payout, and then that one bad day where I couldn't stop myself, where I couldn't pull it off to, simply to step away. And then eventually you're forced to step away and you're thinking like, why? Really mad at yourself at that point in time. Yeah. Thinking, why am I even doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? If you ever thought that, well, I think the probability of that isn't the lowest. Yeah, just yesterday, exactly. Why am I even doing this? It's not even worth it. And then 1 or 2 hours later, you're back at it again anyway. That's why I use this time over Christmas and New Year's and that week in between to, and even that week before, to just take some time off and get some detachment, walk away from the charts, and yeah, let them do their thing. I don't have to be involved in every move throughout the day. It's not a easy profession, that's for sure. We just had that bearish fair value gap. Let's see if we can use it as resistance to continue lower. We still have SMT divergence going on, but I would be surprised if NQ is not able to pull off, to take out that short-term low. Let's see how it goes. If we immediately close above and invalidate this bearish fair value gap, I would get out of this trade. Safety stop loss is going to be placed. I'm not taking it on my funding pips account. I'm still in on that short. 772 776625. 5 points. Let's see how this candle is going to close. Safety stop above the short-term high. I've been forming lower lows and lower highs all the way to the downside here. Like we sort of anticipated, New York Open hasn't been the greatest so far, if we compare it to yesterday at least. Yesterday we just started to trend, got our first fair value gap, and from there on it just kept on going higher. Well, today we're starting to see that potential consolidation here at the low. We have a massive regular trading hours opening gap. Thanks for reminding me, Jazz. Let me actually turn it on so we can visualize it. Yesterday we closed somewhere up here. Today we opened up right down here. Yep, indeed we do. Interesting. Keep an eye on that. $30 seconds to go. That would be our 50% target, that previous day's high. Consequent encouragement of yesterday's range on all these short-term lows. Would you look at that? Right here. Perfect equal lows. Right here, fair value gap, we use the support. And then 2 more before we hit that 50% level. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see how we close here in 2.5 minutes. Right now, no confirmation for bullish order flow. As long as we keep on respecting bearish discounts, rejecting off this inversion fair value gap here to the left, I think we should be fine. And then we could potentially look for a market structure shift around this high. If we manage to strongly close above it. I would still have my doubts because of what happened before. Like, looking like it's gonna go long and then just turn it around. So using a market structure shift down here, I really wouldn't wanna expect it to immediately push all the way. I wouldn't set my take profit target at the high of the day. Maybe for a runner, a potential runner, but not more. I would look forward to just target short-term highs along the way and once again take it step by step. I think that would be too early to call. Especially with those perfect equal lows. Let's see, we have 1 more minute to go. If we should close above, I'm thinking of going out of my positions here on the funding pips account, calling it a trade. Also getting out of this short right there. Yep, like, I don't want to say expected, but like, and we saw the probability of that going to happen after the relatively big London session drop. Without a consolidation before the New York Open. So then very likely the New York Open is going to be that consolidation. Preparing something for the PM session later on. Okay, I'm getting out of this trade. Also getting out of my trades on the funding pip accounts. Yeah, screw it, that's good enough. Last 0.25 lots. Exit. See if we get presented with another opportunity today. If not, that's fine too. Let's see how we close here. Because right now we still have the potential for taking out the low, taking out the high, to just come back to take out the low again. We have our inversion fair value gap right here, paired with this bearish fair value gap. Let me get rid of these arrows, they're just distracting. The take profit trader 50% discount is ending tonight at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with the code 50 and free in case you want to get your hands on a take profit trader account. Looks like we then have to take out this low. Let's see, we took buy side, we took both short-term highs. Close proximity right here. And right there, we hit the inversion fair value gap and the bearish fair value gap. Let's see and stay patient. Try not to waste our bullets before we see anything clear. Immediate rebalance, not leaving behind a new bullish fair value gap. Let's see how this candle is going to close. Didn't confirm a market structure shift yet either. How often do I look for a 1 minute time frame entry? Hard to put it into a number. I'd say it only if I don't see a possibility how to get in on a nice setup on the on a 5 minute time frame. But yeah, here, nice inversion fair value gap setup, continued higher bullish fair value gap into buy side for a quick scalp at the low of the day. Inversion fair value gap entry right here. Possible 5 points. The 1 minute time frame just throws me off too much. Only for new accounts. Now, if you purchase an account and use the discount code 50 and free, you automatically get that discount applied. You can also use the code ASAT trading and you also still get that 50% discount. And if you pass that challenge, you even get a free 50k. Let's say you buy a 50k challenge and you pass it, you get another 50k challenge, activated on your account for free. It's basically buy one for half and get one for free. Alright, just as I suspected. Take out lows, take out highs, immediately close back below here. Even below our inversion fair value gap. So just based on, no. Missing that now. Seek and destroy. Small range. Hitting towards those equal lows now. No, we're still not. 50% is coming in here at 4760. We don't hit that yet. Let's see, timing wise, 9:55, 10 a.m. took out those short-term highs and immediately rejected again. 10:05, 11 a.m. is the end of the timing window. What could we potentially see within that? Sometimes I like to do that as a little exercise. What's realistic? in the next 55 minutes. That's where we are at right now. I guess it would be betting or gambling. Long short, long short, long short. That's usually how it goes within that seek and destroy setup. The only thing that really works is selling the high, anticipating that we gonna end up with seek and destroy. But I don't think many people even do that. Take a quick look at NASDAQ and open that tab up. Still with that SMT divergence at the lows. Yeah, let's see how we close here. Quick stop hunt. Immediately disregarding bearish fair value gap here. Retesting the VWAP maybe for the first time since 2 a.m. basically. 30 seconds to go. Yeah, now in hindsight, I think it's easy to say that a long on NQ would have made sense. But like you said, no real confirmation. Inversion fair value gap, we closed above that. Let's see how we're gonna play here. We shifted market structure, we confirmed that shift now with the close above this high. We also closed above this bearish fair value gap, so just based on that I jumped in with a market order. Waiting to see if we can push back above this. We could also look for more potential resistance around that area. Old bullish fair value gap, we closed below, and now we're retesting it. This is our 5-minute inversion fair value gap from the left. Haven't retested that yet either. Once we close below it, we only, with very small bodies, continued lower. Actually, almost didn't see that. Tiny bearish fair value gap here. If we just hit paired with the VWAP, so this is going to be a major resistance area. 1 minute time frame. 2.5 minutes to go. Take a look at NQ. NQ took out this high already. Let's see if we can start to invalidate more of this bearish order flow. Then that next area we would be looking for is this bearish fair value gap that we used to take this entire thing short initially. And then take it step by step. Didn't enter yet on my funding pips account. Potential is there, the consolidation at the low, market structure shift, but I'm missing the fair value gap. I mean, it's there on a 1 minute time frame. If we eventually always find one if we look for one. I prefer to just stick to the 5 minute time frame. If I don't get it, I simply don't get it. And with it, I mean the entry. Looking good. We didn't close above the bearish fair value gap, but we got close to it. Let's see. NQ is pushing. We close above the VWAP. Let's see. I'm ready to miss out on this move on the funding pips account. I already secured profits with the short. Can still get in on the continuation. Still have room to the upside. Buy side. Bearish fair value gap. If I would have seen the close above here, I would have jumped in on the long on my funding pips account. I've got my phone ready to enter long, but I didn't see that just yet. Let's get rid of that too. -15-minute time frame. This would be that market structure shift I'd be looking for. Now we're pushing. Yeah, I should have jumped in right here once we invalidated this bearish fair value gap, like I did right here with the paper account. Hesitated too long. That's okay. Would have been a feeler position anyway, and then adding more once we get more confirmation. NQ confirmed the higher time frame market structure shift. Lower low, lower high, lower low. higher high, break in structure, target each and every single one of these lower highs. Starting to fill in this regular trading hours opening gap. Let's see how we close here. Bullish fair value gap. First one since the New York Open. Bearish fair value gap, that's our inversion fair value gap right here. This really hasn't been respected, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Let's leave this one right there. Next short-term high we could be looking for would be right here. Before we hit buy side. One more minute before we close. Let's see, can we reach that short-term high? Actually place my stop. Take profit target equal high buy side. 7 points. I think this can already be turned into a inversion fair value gap by now. 20 seconds to go. Trying to be aware that, well, if market makers still eventually want to take this lower from the daily region, I think it would make sense for them to trap as many traders long as they possibly can before reversing it. That's my only concern right now, but NQ is really showing some good strength here. No good entry opportunity here just yet. Let's wait, we have equal highs right here. See if we can clear those before we retrace. I would prefer the retracement before that, but I'm still hesitant. Got stopped out at break even here, almost break even. Took the entire short to the downside. Tried to go short here of that fair value gap to take out these equal lows right here. We closed once we saw that confirmation close above. Retested. Volume imbalance eventually ended up holding. So let's actually draw that up to paint the picture. Retesting the volume imbalance, moving away from that, closing above our bearish fair value gap, retesting it, not retracing into it, but retesting the high, continuing to push. Fortunately, didn't close above this bearish fair value gap. Came back to retest the volume imbalance right here. Let's draw this in and delivered higher from it. Volume imbalance. Make sure we keep an eye on NQ. NQ is almost at these relative equal highs here on ES. On NQ we saw this morning bearish SMT divergence. Well, light bearish SMT divergence because ES didn't really made a higher high here. Only equal highs. But if the objective is going to be to fill in that regular trading hours opening gap, I mean there's some room to the upside. No reason to FOMO, and I wait for a good entry, and if I see that, I'm gonna take that. One more minute to go. Have a great day too, Fady. Take care. NQ almost at this high. Back in that daily bearish fair value gap. That's a daily breaker block here at 758. And see, we still didn't take out these equal highs. Potentially leaving behind a new bullish fair value gap right here. Let's add one more. I hate it. It's always combining. Another entry on this bullish fair value gap here. Since we didn't take out buy side just yet. Be looking forward to get some sort of a retracement. Maybe leave this one behind as a breakaway gap. Not even coming back to retest it. Let's see if that plays out. If we immediately close below that and close inside here, not really too interested anymore. Check out the 15-minute time frame. Closing in 3.5 minutes. Could also see a retracement back into our 15-minute inefficiency. Take a look at NQ. I think eventually NQ is gonna hit this buy side. Reason to believe we continue higher. Matter of time. This way I can manage it a little bit better. Going to the toilet quickly. I know it's not the best timing in the world, but what can I do? Alright, getting the retracement. Let's see if it holds up. Or if we immediately invalidate all of it. Ten seconds to go. Come on, can we get some sort of rejection here? And still close inside this bullish share value gap, that would be nice. Nope, we do not. Invalidation for me would be a close below this fair value gap right here. So theoretically this would be a inversion fair value gap right now. But if we continue higher, that would be the area to enter on. Otherwise it's just going to end up being a fake move, a fake pump and dump, to eventually continue lower, like we saw it right here and right here. Never really reached a proper buy side target. Couldn't even wick above it, and continued lower. Tried again, continued lower, and now trying again, continued lower. Potentially, we will find out. Invalidation would be to close below this fair value gap. Otherwise, I think it would be valid to believe that we could continue higher from here. Get rid of some of this stuff. That's old news from the tape reading earlier on. We also have this old fair value gap here. Not that I'm putting much value on it. I'm in this long. I just started to dip my toes into it on this fair value gap and added some more right here. Like I said, there's not much risk involved in this. If I see my invalidation, I'm out of the trade. I want to see these things respected, especially since we already filled in this fair value gap right here. So the rejection, I like that. We have buy side above, which is more than 5 points away from where we're at right now. If we invalidate this fair value gap, I'm likely going to switch to a short bias. Let's take a look at NQ. He also helps here for a for the long bias, because I just, wouldn't think that NQ can actually reject here. Getting so close to buy side and then just turning away wouldn't really make sense. But, well, sometimes the market just doesn't make sense. And we eventually head down back into these relative equal lows. So those are the two possible scenarios that I see. We also have a bullish share value gap here on NQ, and this would be our breaker block. Retracement, continuation. We'll find out. I'm gonna set an alert for this here. Yeah, there we go. Alert is added. The 15-minute time frame. We just hit that 15-minute bullish share value gap. That's also some nice confluence for the long. 15-minute time frame bullish share value gap paired with a. Did we? No, we didn't even close above that 15-minute bearish share value gap. So that's that adds more to the potential of this just being a retracement and continuation lower into equal low sell side. Still respecting that lowest 15-minute bearish fair value gap. As we can see, we never managed to close above it on the 15-minute time frame. On the 5-minute, yeah, we did. But if we see a fair value gap on the 15, we don't use 5-minute candles to valid or invalidate it. Keeping that in mind, let's see what those last 30 seconds do on this 5-minute candle. A close back above this inversion fair value gap would confirm it. That we're likely gonna visit buy side next. Safety stop loss is in place. 10:30, new 15-minute candle. Immediately rebalanced. This bearish candle, not leaving behind a bearish fair value gap, filling in this entire inversion fair value gap. So in case we close below this, this would really be, for me at least, that invalidation signal for the long. I would look forward to, take out by sell side. Because now we close below the first bullish share value gap. Initially holding support on this bullish share value gap right here, after having turned this into a inversion fair value gap, retesting it, respecting it perfectly to the tick, and then continuing lower from here, closing below this. Be that confirmation for signs of bearish order flow. Could also just see price not really respecting fair value gaps today. That would also be okay. But most of the time, we see that. We see them being respected. Theoretically, it has no business down here anymore. The efficiency has been filled in. At least on a 5-minute time frame, on a 1-minute time frame, we still have plenty of inefficiencies left behind. And we can also see why we reject here on that 5-minute inversion fair value gap. Because we have a perfect 1-minute bearish fair value gap sitting right here. So we need to push above that in order to get above this consolidation here at the high. But let's see, take it step by step and try to not overcomplicate it, thinking 5 steps ahead. I saw we got a message. Yes, this would have been this has been my first entry post New York Open on the Funding Pips account. Because I have a nice, decent sized fair value gap here to invalidate or validate a potential setup. Paired with a market structure shift coming from the low of the day with buy side still 5 points away. I like that. NQ is also, NQ already being above those highs. Just under some more buy side liquidity right here. That also tells me that NQ has reason to continue higher before maybe reversing. I don't know. Same way as we say that NQ might want to retest the 50% of yesterday's range. We're already above the 50% of today's range. We have that big regular trading hours opening gap. Can turn that back on here quickly. That's that gap. Let's leave it on for a while. 50% just above buy side. No, irritating me. Perfect. So let's see how we close here. We close back above the inversion fair value gap. That's a nice sign. Doesn't have to mean anything, but good. Being super chill here. Not really fully involved with the trade. Detachment. Nothing I can change right now anyway. It's up to the charts. But it's looking good. What I wouldn't like to see... okay. Bearish SMT divergence, I was just about to say it. Failure to continue higher on ES. But this might just be short-lived. Like said, this bullish fair value gap is still going to be used as invalidation. 10:40, 15-minute time frame. Candle closing in 1.5 or 2 minutes. Let's see if we can get in the close at 4781. That would be nice to see. So bringing that down on a lower time frame. 4781 would be right here. Closing back above this inversion fair value gap, basically. Alright. We managed to, where did we close on the 15? We managed to close above, but we immediately open with this volume imbalance. It's 10:45, new 15-minute candle. Still not really going anywhere, consolidating just above the VWAP. But as long as we're holding support here, I'm not really worried. No, I don't have a time limit. If I see a setup, I have a specific... Well, let's say if this consolidates for 2 more hours, I'd eventually start to get annoyed and, yeah, just call it a session or call it a trading day. But I don't have a specific time limit on a trade. Usually if it, doesn't play out immediately, it's not gonna work out most of the times, at least from my experience anyway. But I have my invalidation in mind, and only if I see that invalidation, I'm out. I'm not very strict, just because I end my session usually at 11 a.m. to also close my trade at 11 a.m. just to see it, 15 minutes later hitting my take profit target. But right now we have that SMT divergence, we have equal lows on ES, we hit some buy side on NQ as well. But as long as we still respect bullish order flow, we have a big cluster. Inversion fair value gap, look how well we respected it right here. Not like this. Inversion fair value gap right here. Bullish fair value gap, volume imbalance, inversion fair value gap right here. That so far has been respected nicely. Yeah, that's part of the life of being a trader. I prefer these quick moves, and usually if it doesn't play out immediately, you're simply wrong about the direction. Let's see, we still have 1 minute left. Nice rejection here after testing that fair value gap again. NQ is also pushing higher after testing this fair value gap, so let's see. Let's see. Did he? Yeah, I'm not staying up to date with all that bullshit. I try to do me as good as I can. And I just, do it for entertainment. I'm not a trader to be entertained by a show where someone is screaming and yelling. I watched some of his streams. If you enjoy it, of course, it's, nice, but didn't really help me growing as a trader. Oh. Let's see if we get that invalidation. Like I said, the more time we spend consolidating at a specific level, the more likely we are to simply be wrong about the direction. For it to be a pump, getting distributed and then getting dumped. Bearish SMT divergence with NQ. You don't really see nice liquidity on what's about this high, about these equal highs, with this high right here, with those two equal highs. What's about all this? Each and every one of these lower highs. Market structure shift, inversion fair value gap paired with a bullish fair value gap, closing above all this. The first entry I took right here, invalidating this bearish fair value gap, continuing to push, closing above orders, leaving behind signs of bullish order flow. I entered again on this bullish fair value gap, overlapping with the inversion fair value gap. Yeah, simple as that. If we continue higher, I think the chances are high that we're going to do it from this area. We still kept on holding this fair value gap, so that's all Gucci. I mean, all these lower highs would be that liquidity that I'm looking for. I mean, all we did today was lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Potential change. That's the liquidity I'm looking for. That liquidity below here, that's from yesterday. More focused on the liquidity we left behind today. Especially after we saw that NQ is really showing off that strength here already being above that high. And that's what led me to speculate that, if ES is going to follow, and NQ is going to continue to take out more buy side, well, next question, where could ES be doing that from? Okay, we just left behind two nice bullish fair value gaps. All right, let's try it. It's not that I'm going to say with 100% certainty this is going to be the long setup, and there's no doubt about it. I'm saying it's worth a try, and with good risk management, well, worst case scenario, my safety stops get hit. Or let's say not worst case scenario, but yeah, in the scenario that we're gonna end up losing, we're gonna close somewhere below this bullish fair value gap, and I exit with a relatively small drawdown on my funding pips accounts. So yeah, really I don't have much to worry about, but still having more than 5 points, even 10 points as potential upside. This is also the last minute, the last 5-minute candle before we get the new hourly candle. We now have equal lows just below here. I still don't like that SMT divergence here, but as long as we respect it, I'm still fine holding on to my long. Like I said, already made decent profit with this move to the downside. And at my low risk feeling trade right here. And if I see confirmation that we're gonna bounce from here, nice confirmation, I'm gonna add some more to it for the continuation into buy side. But let's find out. I wish there were certainties in trading, but unfortunately there simply are not. 2 minutes to go. 1.5 minutes. Looks like we're breaking, failing to hold support. But we also have to note that in Q now we also start to see some bullish SMT divergence, so this could just be a quick sweep, especially with that new hourly candle about to come in. And he would have to break this low in order to also confirm it, if you want to call it that. Let's see. I usually close one eye with the invalidation on the 855 candle, so super close to that new hourly candle. We will see. Still 30 seconds to go, but I'm certainly gonna take off some risk here on this paper trade. And take some risk off of my funding pips account. Yep. But priority first. Manage the risk on the funding pips account. Alright, I'm out right now. On this position. Close below the bullish fair value gap. Let's get rid of this gray box right here. Sell. Check out the hourly time frame. We closed back inside that hourly bearish value gap. That really doesn't look good for the long. On the 15, we're still holding that 15-minute bullish. That's why I'm not closing completely yet on my funding pips, because of us being just around that new hourly opening. I would decide to close the rest once we actually use this bullish fair value gap, turn into a inversion fair value gap now as resistance. Let's see. Get rid of all that stuff. That bullish SMT divergence. Buy side liquidity is still being left behind on the 1 minute time frame. No, on this 1 minute time frame, we just filled more inefficient. Tricky. But we swept these equal lows. Let's see. I still have a good gut feeling about the long. Like I said, I'm not exposed to much risk at this point in time. Already started to cut some risk once we invalidated this bullish value gap on both this paper account and my funding pips account. And over the new year, I really read through all my notes on my handwritten journal that I do every day after the session and live stream and tape reading stuff. And I really found that common issue that most of the time, if I compare my exits with the time when I exit, with trades that still end up playing out. So I use my fair value gap as invalidation. I see, okay, we invalidate the fair value gap, and I exit, and then price, like right now, for example, continues to go up, me getting really, annoyed by that fact, then, that 99% of the time happens around new hourly openings. So I decided to, give them a little bit more room to breathe, especially around these macro timings, because that's usually when we see that manipulation happening. Before we go in one specific direction for the next hourly candle. Right here, for example, move to the upside. Okay, that first candle of 10 a.m. disrespected this inversion fair value, whatever we want to call it. But then we ended up trending higher for basically the remainder of the hour. Now we filled in all these inefficiencies, bouncing off our inversion fair value gap right here. So it's looking really nice. That's the move that I wanted to see. That's why my gut feeling told me that I shouldn't close it entirely just yet. But taking off some risk at this point in time is the best thing to do. Let's see how we close here and check out what NQ is doing. NQ is already past all that, and I think yes is going to follow now. What I really find hard to believe, Omar, is you don't really see nice liquidity on the long side. I wonder how. Equal high buy side, regular trading hours, opening gap. Other traders that might still be positioned short from the London session, or maybe even from Asia. Make it a big accumulation, manipulation, reversal / distribution. Nice closing candle, even above both of these volume imbalances right here. Let's see how that's going to turn out. I'm gonna stay on the live stream. I mean, I've been streaming since 8 AM, so that's 3 hours now, I think, here on the Discord. I appreciate you guys for staying in here for so long with me. Let's see. We still have that SMT divergence. If we look over here to NQ, let's go to the 5-minute time frame. Now we cleared orders buy side. Could see or talk about a potential 1 push, 2 push, 3 push pattern. Market structure shift and hunt these internal lows. But yeah, let's just be patient and see. Bullish SMT divergence right here at the lows. Respected the inversion fair value gap. Hunted some stops. Step by step. take a quick look at NQ here. Doesn't really have to go far to take out the Asia session high. Let's see. The same way as we just spoke about that this was the manipulation before we head into the new hour, this could also be the manipulation to once again push it up one last time, trapping longs into the market, and then yeah, taking it into equal low sell side. We will see. Patience. Check out the 1 minute time frame. Looking weird. Really looking weird. Did we manage to? We didn't even manage to take out the short-term high right here from this middle section here. If we would turn it around, well, I don't know what your bias would be, but I would have a hard time thinking that it's gonna go up. Looks more like we swept buy side one last time, rejected, consolidating before we break below our next objectives, doesn't it? And now if we flip it back around, I don't know why that would be different, even if we do it on the 5 minute time frame invert scale. I think buy side is very likely first before we continue higher up here. This would be that market structure shift bearish with our breaker block, inversion fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. All of that has been nicely respected. Very nice rejection. Waiting for that continuation lower to take out some of the sell side. Sometimes I like to do that to just flip it on its head to confirm my bias. Looks great inverted, yeah. Inverted, it really does look great. That's. Well, let's see. Just taking too long for my liking. A 15-minute candle is going to close very soon, and then we get that next 15-minute candle, and at latest by that time I want to see that continuation into buy side after we now officially filled in this entire 15-minute bullish fair value gap here, paired with the 15-minute inversion fair value gap. Nice bullish engulfing candle in 40 seconds. That's really what I'm looking forward to see here. Yeah, exactly. And then if you're in doubt, turn your chart around. I don't know. You're like, would I short or long this? Because the more time you spend watching this, the more time and the higher the probability of you trying to look for 10 or 20 reasons against your trade. And because it takes so long, you're like, debating it with yourself. And if you flip it around, you're looking at something completely different theoretically. Well, in reality, it still looks, the same. Just flipped on its head. Yeah. And then what do you see? Trendline liquidity. We're slowly, first step, second step, third step, 3 pushes to the upside. Market structure shift, sell side below. Asia session at the low of the day, previous day's low. Yeah, I would have a hard time not shorting the shit out of it, to be honest. Yeah, let's short. yeah. 1, 2, 3. 9:30, last manipulation move to the upside. Market structure shift, breaker block, bearish fair value gap, inversion fair value gap. Next leg lower. I don't know. I would have a hard time doing the analysis for it to continue higher now. Yeah, I don't. I always assume that traders know about these tricks, but that's my dirty little secret. If you're in doubt, flip the chart. Turn the chart around. And you see it very clear. I mean, let it rip. There goes the continuation. Let's go. Shit, okay. Oh, we're out of the paper trade, but I mean, let's just leave that chart inverted for now. So we hit that first target. Let's see. Let me manage it from my phone quickly. My main target is going to be the sell side for now, because this could turn into a PM session play. And actually flip it around. No, it's irritating me. That's what we're working with. We still have to get above these bearish fair value gaps first. Let's take a look at NQ. Q also continued higher, back inside of the fair value gap, almost back at the Asia session high. Like always, we got out of the first, let's say, I don't know what to call it, to be honest. Out of that first potential entry opportunity, or step 0 is what I like to call it, where usually that entry takes place. And now, step 2 would be, or step 1, close above this bearish value gap, and step 1.5/2 would be to close above this bearish value gap and a nice confirmation for a market structure shift even on the 15-minute time frame. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Don't really like to use wicks to define market structure down here and say lower low, lower high, lower low, market structure shift. Even though you could have, this is a short-term low with a lower high to the left and a lower high to the right. We close above it, leave behind a fair value gap, use the 15-minute fair value gap as support to continue to push. And at the same time, it looks like a left shoulder, head, right shoulder setup, a nice head and shoulder setup at the low of the day with plenty of buy side to the upside. Unfinished business from the Asia session, this consolidation. Now we will see. We will see. About to turn bullish on the daily. Yep. And here's really going for it here. I'm just waiting for ES to pop. About to turn bullish on the daily. And let's check out our regular trading hours gap. All the way up here within our old new week opening gap from the 25th of December. All right, step 1 accomplished. We closed above this bearish value gap. Also, timing lines up with that new 15-minute candle at 11:15. We cleared buy side liquidity. We took these equal highs, inversion, fair value gap. Now, next challenge will be to push through this bearish fair value gap which we initially used as resistance to deliver into that low of the day. Now we want to see it pushing above that and then eventually holding support on these levels. Open a funding pips account makes me want to swing and hold position instead of being worried about closing quickly in a drawdown, at least if I am on the right side. Welcome to the team, the club, whatever you want to call it. It's a relief. That's why I kept talking about it. It's nice, I know. I still advise you to take partials. It just makes sense. Scale out, especially once we hit buy side. Secure some profits. And yeah, you can always leave a quarter lot running. Back to the high of the day. Set your stop loss to break even if you entered right here where I did. And let it rip. Not having to be worried about, oh, now I'm in profit and it's unrealized. If it comes back to my break even, I lose 50% of my margin. It really sucks. It really sucks. It really forces you to, oh, I'm 5 points in profit. Gotta secure it. Gotta secure profits now. Oh, yeah. I can't. Break even is basically one of the most stupid things you could possibly do when trading on a Apex account, because break even means you lose. You gotta take profit when profit is available and use micros and slowly scale out. Or, yeah, I don't know, you just end up giving yourself a hard time. And once again, inverting the chart did the trick. And for everyone watching who's not a VIP member, yeah, that's what we do every day. We tape read the London session and stream live here on Discord during the New York session. With a small little group, without hundreds of people spamming comments and really, yeah, missing the pointer. That's what I oftentimes feel if I watch, I don't know, I recently checked out Tanya Trades or, I don't know, some Twitter gurus. I don't know, if I'm in that chat or watching it, I don't feel like the main priority really is trading. Of course, it's nice to be entertained, but if I want to be entertained, I certainly don't want to sit in front of my computer at that point in time. I go outside, catch up with some friends, do something that's actual fun, and then, yeah, enjoy life. Go outside, touch some grass, go to the spa. I'm here for one specific reason, to work and make money, ideally. Sometimes it doesn't always play out. We can't always win. We all understand that. But if there's nothing to talk about, I also like to, yeah, keep it quiet because, I don't know, I imagine that you on the other end is, yeah, trying to focus, and me talking shit at this point in time is not really helpful or beneficial to anyone. I lose focus and you likely do too. I'm sure she's a good trader, otherwise she wouldn't be, yeah, I don't know, ICT wouldn't join her live stream. Yeah, it would be funny if ICT would join my live stream on YouTube once, but, well. I don't know, I think it's also kind of funny. 1 year ago, ICT kept on posting, oh yeah, don't buy anything of people that teach my stuff, blah blah blah. I put out everything for free, and now he's supporting specific streamers. Even, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Who really gives a shit? I don't. I'm not in the entertainment business, I'm in the money-making business. Period. Yeah, I guess. I thought about that too, and I think, yeah, that might be the reason why. Well, I mean, we're just under us. I also think ICT is a strange guy. I respect the hustle. I mean, making millions with a mentorship, I don't think it's the easiest thing to do. I mean, I think every trader with some experience at least heard about ICT concept once. Yeah, I think it's funny. It's really funny. But yeah, let's focus again. Inversion fair value gap. Equal high buy side. Next buy side target right here. Short term high right here. We cleared that. Take a look at NQ. NQ almost back above that London 2 a.m. high and Asia session high. Just gonna open my window. Breathe some fresh air. I also considered if it's about me showing my face or not showing my face, why I'm not popping or trending. And I really, trust me, I really considered it for a long time to, I don't know, just turn on my camera on stream. But yeah, after thinking about it for a while, I really decided that it's not for me. Not that I don't want you guys to know who I am. I mean, I don't care. But I think it just gives me that little bit of extra pressure. Like, then I really feel someone is watching me. You know what I mean? How would you feel about that? Like, and I don't really think it's about how I look. It's more about, yeah, the value that you get out of the stream. And I think seeing a little, yeah, square in the bottom right of your screen doesn't add any value. Mainstream, yeah, exactly. I think in the sense of building a brand, it might be more helpful. But yeah, no, I made that decision. Might change it, who knows. But for now, I'm gonna leave it like it is. I'm quickly going to the toilet. Be back in a second. Ah, nice. Once again, up for a pleasant surprise. We managed to hit that next short-term high. By the way, if you want a good laugh in the meantime, check out the general chat. A friend of mine sent me an Instagram post. I don't have Instagram anymore. Don't think it's necessary. And yeah, I don't know. He always tells me I'm missing out on so much funny stuff. But in the end of the day, if it's really funny, people send it to me. So I don't feel the need to be on it. But that's not the point. Yeah, it's about trading, being an emotional trader. And I think that guy really... it's... I'm pretty sure we all felt like that one time. Next buy side target on NQ. Oh, we already hit that. Interesting. high of the day. I'm going to take some partials now. Yep, profit taken. And let's also take some profit on this position. And let the rest run. And let's check out the 50k count, what's happening on there. Haven't really been managing it nice. Yeah, I knew it. Thinking of letting this one run with my stop at break even. I'm considering to start to use a trade cop here. Just gonna leave my stop loss at the, I might take profit at that previous day's high and my stop at break even. Just above break even. So we just on the CFD hit that equal high buy side. Sometimes even I'm I don't know, I want to say surprised, but I mean, isn't it exactly what we were looking for? Just before that hourly opening, we were considering, okay, are we going to close the entire position or are we just going to cut some risk? We decided to take off some risk because before that we said that around the hourly opening, we sometimes get some sort of manipulation. We saw that a couple of times today before. And then with that new 15-minute candle right here, we wanted to see the continuation expansion move. We looked at it on a 15-minute time frame and said, okay, if it's not going to continue after this bullish engulfing candle on the 15, and we keep on consolidating, I'm likely going to end the stream and just call it a session. And usually our price starts to move with that new 15-minute candle. You really start to recognize that pattern, especially if you focus on one chart for an entire session, for for a couple of months or a couple of weeks even. We got our push at 11 a.m. 5-minute candle, then we went sideways, 2 inside bars, and when did we continue to push? With the opening of that next 15-minute candle, because more volume enters the market, more 15-minute traders see the confirmation, they see that bullish engulfing they've been waiting for of the bullish fair value gap, and then they enter. $12 points. Let's see, we have another tiny little bearish fair value gap right here. Guys, now would also be the time to ask me questions. I'm not gonna stream until the PM session. We started streaming right here at 8 a.m. with that market structure shift. Let me actually turn on the executions on stream today. So this was still within the tape read where we saw the inversion fair value gap paired with the bullish fair value gap continuation long into short-term highs. Because I only was in with one contract, I didn't secure profits. Eventually got stopped out at break even, but then spotted the market structure shift, also perfectly aligned with the timing. Of course, the potential risk was there that we could simply have seen a fake out with that new hourly opening and continue higher, but once we retested the fair value gap and closed back below it, we had that confirmation plus volume imbalance for the continuation into sell side and even lower. Then before the New York Open we consolidated, took out the low, took out the high, or some short-term highs, took out the low again, took out the highs again. At this point in time I was at least still convinced that we're gonna take out lows again, but that very next candle already invalidated it, and we jumped in long for the first time with the close above our bearish fair value gap. We continued higher, really could have started to take some profit, left behind those equal highs, just below buy side liquidity, below this short-term or mid-term high. Retrace into our inefficiencies that we left behind. Right here, we even closed below that one right here. Consolidated. Then, yeah, flipping the chart on its head really gave us that extra bit of confidence that we needed to really hold on to this trade and even add some more size to it with the overall trend line liquidity right here. That last manipulation moved to the upside right after the New York Open. If we measure that out, it's usually what I would do if I would be looking for the short. I like the short. For some reason, I resonate with the chart much more if I flip it on its head. I don't know why that is, but it looks much more obvious what I should do if I flip it on its head compared to, yeah, the bullish scenario. I don't know why, but the short looks much easier to spot. Let me actually measure the standard deviations and see what's coming out. Then 3 standard deviations would deliver us into that previous day's high. Let's flip it back. And 4 standard deviations would form a new high. That's actually perfect. So just 4 times this last manipulation that was confirmed with the close above when we started to enter. Then we got a bit scared and exited some of the position once we closed below that bullish fair value gap, but not all of it. Only 2 out of 3 only. On the funding pips account, I kept on holding. I only closed one 0.5 lot position because, yeah, by the time I turn on my phone and open up MT5, already started to see, okay, there's some bullish momentum. Let's wait a little bit. And then, yeah, the candle eventually closed and I didn't see the need to exit my positions again. And from here on, we waited for that next 15-minute candle, delivered into basically most of our buy-side targets. We have that equal high buy-side still left behind. After that, we have to, the next step would be to push through this bearish fair value gap before we eventually get back to that midnight level and our London kill zone high. And then we would almost make it back to that high of the day right here, and which is also equal high buy side. So we open up for the day. We had this pump right here at 7 p.m. and then once again at 9:20 p.m. with perfect equal high buy side. More equal highs in the middle of it, and then that London session buy side. All right. Inversion fair value gap. On a 100k account, I secured most of my profit. That's all good. Done. Now we're retesting our old bearish fair value gap, so I expect to see support here. More inversion fair value gaps. Let's get rid of this volume imbalance. That just makes it more confusing. Get rid of all these execution labels. Keep it clean. We understand that we took buy side here and then we took this buy side. Don't need the line to show us that. 11 a.m. can disappear. We'll leave that at the bottom. We add the SMT divergence right here and right here. And we add our bullish fair value gaps right here. and right here. I can imagine that that no one's got a question for me. I'm at that point where I would just simply let it run and yeah, log off for the day. So that would be that last chance where you can ask some questions. I already secured most of my profits right around here. My stops at break even right around here, and my final target is gonna be just around that midnight level. I'm happy to cash out at that midnight level. It's only 2.5 points. And then eventually maybe even that previous day's high, we will find out. Let's check out NQ for a last time. NQ already hit that London session buy side. It played out nicely. That's that higher time frame breaker. Looking at that last push higher. We could even just look at those up closing candles. Lower low, lower high, lower low. Not looking at the stuff down there. Higher time frame structure, shifted, retested the breaker and continued the expansion. High of the day coming in right here. And then our previous day's high. Quickly shift. And that ICT all-in-one reload here. Breaker block. SMT divergence. Make this green for the bullish SMT. Our displacement. Don't want to do that. Oh, we've got a question. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think today was over the top. I mean, London session, between London and New York session tape read. Caught all the moves that were available today. This short-term long into short-term buy side. waiting for step 2 to close above this bearish fair value gap. Never saw that. Rest stopped out at break even, and then I mentioned this market structure shift internal 2022 model all the way into the 9:30 a.m. low, and yeah, then eventually the long of this area. I think if you learned anything today, then it would be to sometimes flip the chart on its head and see if the trade you're in or the bias you currently hold makes some sense, makes 0 sense at all, or yeah, I don't know, it perfect sense. Stairs up, 3 pushes to the upside, elevator down. That last manipulation at the high, I don't know why it didn't seem so super obvious looking at it. Well, I had that good gut feeling here, but once I flipped it on its head, yeah, well, that's just when that final confirmation came in, where I had 0 doubts that we were not going to continue higher. Okay, NQ is at the Asia session high. We also mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I don't think it's completely out of the cards that we're gonna see this reverse to the upside. I mentioned also that if we see it, we get a displacement, a proper displacement with it. Now let's just see. Buy side liquidity taken. Any more questions? Masme, Marcin, Frenzy, Kuch, Kita, Vagelis, Agent. Did you catch on along? Did you fade me? MT5. That's the 100k count. Is it really worth it to? Well, I guess. Looks like we just keep on running. Oh, 5 messages. Oh, okay. Nice price action. Gap close on SPY. Interesting. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is already above that previous day's high. I'm also gonna keep on holding the rest to the previous day's high on NQ, on ES, not on NQ. So a quick recap. Wait for ES to hit the final buy side target. Wait for it to close above this bearish value gap. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Gonna do some Twitter posts now and a little recap, and then we're gonna leave it at that. Unless there are any more questions, I think we've done our job for today. Alright guys, see you tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye.